I want to launch a lawsuit against the U.S. government for their corruption. Our national debt has reached $38 trillion. In just 71 days, we added $1 trillion to the debt, most of it coming from the interest you have to pay on the debt. This sounds like the beginning of going into debt spiral, where our debt became too big to pay, so we just keep paying the interest off with more debt in the hopes the system can keep functioning. We are at a point where taxing the rich won't be enough, but instead of acknowledging this reality, our leaders continue to put off fiscal responsibility out of fear of being voted out for raising taxes or making changes that will make them and their party unpopular. Every president since Bush Jr. has raised the debt more and more than their predecessors. And now we have Trump, who didn't want to raise taxes, so he started using tariffs to bring in extra revenue. But that's just an unofficial tax. We end up paying more for tariffs, so it's a tax on us. Moving forward, we will have to be careful with not just our finances, but with our minds. Whenever governments get into serious debt, they will push their propaganda that pulls on our heartstrings. Both Europe and America did this during the world wars. It wasn't enough to brainwash soldiers into fighting for so-called glory, but citizens were suckered into financing the wars by buying war bonds, an empty promise from the government that people were being patriotic and would get their money back after the war. What they didn't mention was inflation would rise after the war, making their bonds nearly worthless. Whenever the government uses words like liberty, freedom, duty, patriotism, and so on, it's just propaganda meant to psychologically and emotionally manipulate us to serve the elites who will never go to war or struggle when it's time to make sacrifices. Please subscribe to the channel to support this organization so we can sue the US government and recognize everything they tell us is just an excuse to keep their control over us.